Can you explain to us plebs what impeachment means? People are saying he's still in office. I don't know anything about how this works. I feel like this is going to get asked a lot tonight. Basically, what impeachment means is the House. We've got a big legislative body. So we have a big group of people that pass laws. Okay, half of it is the Senate, half of it is the House. The House said, Trump, you did some fucked up shit, and we all agree that you did some fucked up shit. And that's all impeachment is. It just says, Trump, you did some fucked up shit. And everybody in the House, well, a majority in the House agrees that you did some fucked up shit. And that's it. Now it goes to the Senate. Now, the Senate is the one who decide, all right, Trump, is the fucked up shit you did enough to get you removed from office? And the Senate's going to say no, because the Senate are mainly Republicans. So basically nothing happens. Doesn't really mean or do anything. The fact that Trump was impeached is kind of symbolic. Trump being impeached literally means nothing? Correct. Trump being impeached doesn't really mean anything. What does it mean to vote present like Tulsi did? Voting present means that that you want people to know that you were there, but you didn't vote. How can it mean nothing? It's a process. Well, it means nothing because it's going to die in the Senate. So it's not like anything actually happens. Like Trump is impeached now in the House. It'll go to the Senate where McConnell will kill it. And then Trump will run for re-election and has like a 50-50 chance of winning. Like that's all that's happened so far. That's not what Hassan said. Hassan said it still means it means nothing. What it means to some people is some people are going to make some obscure reference to rule of law. Some people might say that it shows that Trump is a bad guy. I guess I don't know if you care about shit like that. I don't give a fuck about shit like that. I care about legislation. So in that case, if you want to like jerk yourself off over the fact that the whole House got together and said that Trump is a big bad guy, you did that. That's good, but. Did the voting in the Senate already happen? That'll be scheduled for a later date, but I mean, like, it's understood that it's going to die there. Isn't optics what ultimately matters here? How good is it, do you think, for the left as a whole? Well, the optics that you have to balance out is does this impeachment thing. The problem is that, like, I don't know if the optics are good or bad. Like, does the impeachment thing mobilize more Democratic voters to vote, or does it mobilize angry as fuck Republicans to get out and vote? Does impeachment help secure an election in a state or in a district where some Republican voted against it and now he's going to be punished for it? Or does it fuck over Democrats that won purple districts, which is largely where the blue wave came from, that have Trump supporters that are now going to vote them out because they don't like him? I don't know. What is the point of this if you can just rerun? Oh, there is no point. It doesn't really mean anything. This is all symbolic. That's all this is. Doesn't this also cheapen impeachment as a whole? And now Republicans might try this in the future against a Democratic president? I mean, he got impeached. I mean, I don't know how it cheapens it. Like, most of the people thought that he deserved it, so he got impeached. You don't think there's anything to the whole oath to the Constitution? I don't give a fuck. I don't care about that now. I don't think Trump gives a fuck about the Constitution. What is this?
Lawyer said we voted on it and we didn't do it. We voted on it not once, not twice.
Stinky,
3 times we voted.
Get your stinky pro DNC
You don't love the spirit of justice.
poo-poo
You
takes
love your
out of here,
father, the
okay?
devil.
Nancy Pelosi did not want to do this. Nancy Pelosi got bullied and pressured into finally caving to doing this, okay? She kept saying, oh my God, Donald Trump wants us to impeach him. Oh my God, Donald Trump is just basically just impeaching himself. Oh my God, I don't know if we should impeach him yet. Oh, just not yet, just not yet. Don't give her the credit for this, okay? As much as Nancy Pelosi does end up doing great things or has in the past, I would not consider this to be Nancy Pelosi's doing. I guess she whipped him, so that's fine, but Republican vote reversed.
So Hassan just doesn't understand the game of the politics stuff. So Hassan looks at it as like, and this is really common. You see like a lot of progressive brain people do this, right? Is you think like, well, should he be impeached? Well, yeah, that's the morally right answer. Oh no. Pelosi isn't there to make the morally correct decision. Pelosi is there to ensure the healthy state of the Democratic Party. The reason why, so I guess to some people this is really weird, and it seems like Pelosi finally got bullied into impeachment. The reason why Pelosi was against impeachment for so long was because he just wasn't polling very popularly with the American people, because moving forward with impeachment threatened a lot of the vulnerable Democratic districts. Now, the reason why people like Hassan don't care about that is because these people like Hassan don't care about vulnerable districts. All they care about are the pure Democrats that usually come from highly blue districts that have no chance chance in hell of ever losing their election. None of the Justice Dems are going to lose seats because of a faulty impeachment proceeding. That's never going to happen. And people like Hassan don't really care about legislation or don't care about the political efficacy of any particular party. They just want their most politically pure candidates and their most politically pure ideas to be represented, whether or not it turns out to be legislatively successful or not, right? Because at the end of the day, Hassan is making $250,000 a year on Twitch and doesn't care about any of these issues. For somebody like Pelosi, what Pelosi is looking at is Pelosi's trying to think, okay, if we move forward on impeachment proceedings, are these purple districts that are vulnerable, are we going to be hurting members of our party that are going to be trying to win re-election in the House? That's the big question. And it didn't happen during the Mueller hearings, but it has happened slightly during these recent hearings where the needle has shifted from the moderates, where the moderates are saying, yeah, fuck it. Over 51% of Americans are favoring impeachment. Let's fucking go ahead and move forward with it. And that's basically what the political calculus is. It's not really an idea of like getting bullied into something. I don't know if you think that's how politics works. It's not. It's more a matter of like, what can Pelosi feel comfortable moving forward with that isn't going to threaten seats in the House for her party? That's what the question is. So that's all that happened, is that like people started to favor impeachment, so she moved forward with impeachment. That's it. I think you can find 538 polling on... No, not 538. We would look for Gallup polls on impeachment. I think you saw like... I think you saw for the first time in September where the support for impeachment started to climb. Oof, although in November, December, it started to fall. I think I'm still like... I'm still against impeachment. I don't think it's... I feel like it's not a good... I don't think it's good, but this is where I really wish you and Hassan could debate. Hassan thinks anyone who tells you impeachment isn't good is lying. Because Hassan just doesn't understand like political processes. Like Hassan is a demagogue that just wants to talk about like what like feels the best or whatever. I don't even know actually, but like he's very far removed from like the actual like American political processes. But like in reality, I mean, like I can tell you like what now, like. So I guess like here's our predictions. We can see what's going on. The Senate's not going to convict Trump. Trump is going to run for re-election. Like, those two things are undeniable. So, what did impeachment do? I mean, if anything, it empowers Trump's base. That would be what I would worry about, you know? Destiny, he has technically been impeached. Isn't that true? Doesn't that mean his impeachment was good? Nice. It maintains norms. The whole reason we have a judicial system in the first place. Okay. Except impeachment has fuck all to do with judicial shit. It's just a political process. Destiny, this is also the first time a majority of Americans have favored impeachment and the president hasn't resigned. Nixon resigned the day this threshold passed. Trump has his base and this was obvious going into impeachment. But that's different. Nixon was facing a Senate that was 100% going to fucking kick him out. Like, Nixon's Senate was not going to save him. Trump's Senate will. So what were the Democrats thinking by doing this? Well, a lot of the Democratic, like, base constituents are, like, are just, like, really hyped to, like, fuck over Trump any way they can. But it doesn't really do anything. Progressives feel like they shouldn't have to play the game. They don't care if they aren't politically effective. This is why they beef with Pelosi. Yeah, of course, because progressives don't understand politics. To be fair, it's because a lot of them are really young and politics are really fucking confusing, of course. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad that, like, progressives are so hell-bent on, like, this type of stuff. I think it's just kind of sad that they missed the forest for the trees, I guess. I've never understood all the Pelosi hate. She's done incredible stuff for the Democratic Party. Well, the Justice Dems fought with Pelosi, and every progressive will side with the Justice Dems no matter what, so... You're keeping the base enthusiastic. Impeachment or non-impeachment wouldn't have a sizable effect on the GOP. I totally disagree. I see it as the other way around. Like, the Democratic base should be as energized as they ever have been because of what's going on with Trump. Like, the Democratic base has somebody to hate, which is Trump. Like, they're always energized to vote. Tons of people. We had a record turnout for the midterm elections. Like, we should be able to get, like, another huge turnout for this election. Now, the Republicans, on the other hand, a lot of them might feel disgruntled with Trump because of his inability to pass any of the promises he had. Hillary's not in prison. The wall isn't built. Like, all of these Trump promises that kind of just, like, faltered. But giving them things to rally around, like the fact that my president was unfairly impeached or whatever, I do think it energizes the Republicans a bit. But I guess at the end of the day, these are just feelings. We'll have to look to polling data to see how people feel at the end of it. Yes, because AOC is definitely still feuding with Pelosi. At this point, no. AOC and Pelosi have gotten along, I think. After AOC fired that crazy fucking campaign manager he had that was like taking shots at other vulnerable Democrats, I think Pelosi and AOC have gotten along. I feel like given the hand she's been dealt, Pelosi's done almost everything she possibly could for the country. I'm not sure how much more she could have done in that respect. Pelosi's done an amazing job. Don't let anybody Anybody that tells you that Pelosi is not effective at what she does, the problem is like these are people that just don't understand the political processes in the House. They're just demagogues or ideologues. They just want to sell you their brand of politics, and they don't care how the game is actually played. Pelosi does care how the game is played. She's incredibly effective. I think this House has passed more legislation that's died in the Senate than like any House in the history of the fucking United States. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, Pelosi has done a lot of fucking work, and she is a monster when it comes to fundraising as well. It's crazy how effective Pelosi has been for the Democratic Party. Can you elaborate on what she's effective at? She's effective at getting people out there and fucking voting on shit that she thinks should be voted on. She's gotten a fuck ton of legislation passed. And she's good at fundraising, too. I don't know. I just pay attention a little bit more. I think that he's, like, hardcore shelled himself out for Bernie Sanders, like, past any point of having any amount of integrity when it comes to dealing with stuff.